मंगलमय मंगल करण वीतराग विज्ञान नमो ताहि जाते भये अरिहंतादि महान करि मंगल करि हो महा ग्रंथ करन को काज जाते मिले समाज सब पावे निज पद राज। मिथ्या देवादिक भजे हो है मिथ्या भाव तज तिन को साचे भजो यह हित हेत उपाव। So we were discussing sixth chapter of Moksha Marg Prakashak, refutation of false deity. Deity means God here. Yeah, and false perceptor. Perceptor means Guru. And false religion. Kudev, Kuguru, and Kusastra. We were discussing the characteristics of false deities and denial of faith in them. Then we move on to characteristics of peripatetic devas, that is Vyantar Deva, and denial of their worship. So why we should not worship this peripatetic devas called Vyantar Devas. You know, there are 10 kinds of Vyantar Devas, and Bhoot is one of that Vyantar Dev, you know, Bhoot, ghost. So ghost is also a god, Dev, you know, peripatetic Dev. So we were on to page number 240. Okay. And in the middle, someone asked here. From there, we need to start. So the discussion on Vyantar will continue, and maybe today we can finish it off, otherwise next week. So far we have seen that since time immemorial, people have this tendency to believe in miracles. So whoever does a miracle, people blindly follow them. And here Todarmalji has shown us the different characteristics of this kind of gods and why we should not worship them. Okay, so uh, people have people of different sects have belief, different kinds of belief, but all are just believing false god, false guru, and false religion. Okay, so getting into Jainism and getting the right kind of advice is very rare. Okay, so the discussion on Vyantar continues, and it is very interesting. Once you understand correctly what a Vyantar can do and what it cannot do, so you will not feel anytime fear. You know, sometimes we have challenges from all fronts coming into our life simultaneously. Whenever you see, whenever there is a rise of pap karma, inauspicious karma, you face difficulties from all angles, not only one angle, but all angles. And at that point of time, it's very difficult to sustain your faith in true God, you know. Then people resort to all kinds of chamatkar, pray to this, pray to that, Shani Devta, Rahu, Ketu, you know, there are different kinds of false gods. And because people are fearful, they are fearful that our sensual pleasures should not be lost. And in that pursuit only, they are ready to believe anybody and anywhere. No? But the truth is that whatever you do, it's not going to yield you any good result. On the contrary, your belief system will be uh, destroyed, and it will be very difficult for you to manifest right belief. That is the first loss. And the second one is that it's a cause of inauspicious bondage. Okay. So it does not serve our purpose in any way. And believing in this kind of uh, gods is again not going to benefit us in any way. And and those people who are weak, mentally weak, they only believe in these kinds of miracles. Otherwise, if you are a firm believer of Jainism, you will never believe in any of these stories. The bottom line is that if there is a rise of inauspicious karma in you, you will face challenges from all angles. You will indulge in wrong God, wrong perceptor, and wrong religion. And if there is a rise of auspicious karma, you will not indulge in this kind of activities. Okay. So very interesting. If you properly understand the nature and the characteristics of this Vyantar Dev, then you will be relieved of many problems. Okay. So you must understand it properly and then become fearless. Okay. One substance cannot do anything of the other substance. So people pray to Vyantars just because they feel if we don't follow them, then they will harm us. That is the main problem with this Vyantars, People believe that they will harm us, but in reality, nobody can harm anybody, right? Because two different substance and they don't have any relations in between them. So absolute atyant abhav, absolute non-existence. Okay. So the relationship between two substances is of absolute non-existence. So when one substance does not exist in the another substance, where is the question of influencing, doing something? Nothing. Okay. So we need not worry about the Vyantar Deva. It is basically our pap and punya karma that comes into fruition, and because of that, such actions happen. So if you understand very clearly the nature of this Vyantar, the characteristics of the Vyantar, you will never fear about anything about that. Okay. So we begin from here again. Someone asked here, there are a few questions coming up, and then we will be ending this chapter. So Subhaji, you read.
Jai Jinendra ji.
Jai Jai.
Someone asked here, some Vyantara narrates his power, tells the imperceivable things, narrates his inferiority by telling his dirty place of habitation, does not reply to our questions, makes confusing statements, causes others to act contrarily, inflicts misery, etc. How these astonishing things happen? Answer. In different Vyantaras, comparatively more and less power is found. But those who show their inferiority by telling about their dirty place of habitation, etc., do so out of fun. The Vyantaras continue indulging in sportive actions like children. As a child, for the sake of making fun, shows himself inferior, teases and abuses others, cries loudly, and afterwards starts laughing. Similarly, the Vyantaras also indulge in all such actions. If they are inhabitants of dirty place, then when they come into good places, Who brings them there? If they come themselves, then, having such power, why do they live in dirty places? Therefore, their residence where they take birth, which is under and above this earth, is lovely and attractive. For the sake of fun, they utter whatever they like. If they have any sufferance, then how do they start laughing immediately after weeping? It is true that the mantras, incantations, have unlimited and unimaginable power. Some true mantra possesses such instrumental cause and affect relationship that due to the Vyantara is not able to move from a place and also become somewhat miserable and also become. If some powerful mantra checks him, then he remains stationary or remains stuck up of his own accord. So, all this is the power of mantra, but burning, etc., is not possible. The knower of mantras, incantator, says that he has burnt the Vyantara, but the Vyantara appears again because it is not possible to burn the Vaikriyaka, transformable body. The range of clairvoyance knowledge found in some of the Vyantaras, peripatetic devas, is of knowing the things of less area and time, and in some ones it is more. Therefore, if they have desire to reply and have knowledge of the question asked, then they reply to a question related with the unknown objects. If they possess less knowledge, then they reply after asking from other Vyantra possessing more knowledge. It should be known that if they possess less knowledge and have no desire to reply, then they do not reply to our question. After taking birth, the Vyantras possessing less knowledge can know about the events of their previous life for some period only. Then afterwards, only the remembrance of those events remain. Therefore, if the desire arises, then they indulge in various activities and tell about the previous life. But when someone asks something different, then their clairvoyance knowledge being limited, how can they tell without knowing? The question that they cannot reply and have no desire to reply, they do not reply either due to pride or sportive instinct or sometimes tells lies. Should I continue, sir?
Yes.
The Devas, celestial being, possesses such power that they can change or turn their own as well as other jivas body and material things according to their desire. Therefore, they transform themselves into different shapes and sizes, etc., and indulge in various peculiar activities. They create diseases, etc., in others' body. It should be remembered that they can turn or transform their own body and other material things to the extent of their power. Therefore, they do not possess the power of doing all kinds of acts. They can change or turn the body, etc., of other jivas only according to the rise of punya papa karmas of that jiva. If that jiva is having the rise of punya, auspicious karma, then the Vyantara devas cannot make his body diseased, etc. And if he is having the rise of papa, inauspicious karma, then the Vyantara devas cannot do his desired work. Thus, one should know the power of Vyantara devas, etc.
Stop. Another important question coming up, but before that, we explain this one. So, different ventures have different types of capacities. Okay, some have more power, some have less power. And some of the ventures tell that they are their their place of habitation is very dirty, and all these just because of they want to do some fun. There is no fact behind that. There is no reality behind that. Okay, they just want to play like children play prank, sometimes they cry unnecessarily, and then suddenly they start laughing. So all these are sportive actions just like children. Okay, so Venters are like that. And because of fear, and people do believe in them, and those who believe in them, uh, they they harass them more. If you don't pay heed to their actions, they will leave you, they will not harm you. But people become fearful. It's just like, you are crossing the road and there are dogs on the road. So if you go on walking on your own without looking at them, they will never harass you. But if you are fearful, they will realize that this fellow is fearful. So then they try to harass you. Okay. So same is the case with Vyantar. So if you don't pay any heed to their activities, even if you don't feel fearful about those activities, they will do nothing. They cannot do anything to any of the people. It is just because the rise of our auspicious and inauspicious karma that we get influenced by this kind of Vyantar Devas. So then Todarmalji logically explained that if they are habitating in dirty places, then how they have come to the good places? And if they can come to the good places, then why they not where they are not living the dirty places? So all these are not the reality. Uh, it is all imagination only. Okay, just to make you fearful, they talk like whatever comes into their mind, but there is no logic behind it. And in reality, if they have any sufferings, if they are being harassed or they are having trouble in their life, then how they start laughing immediately after weeping? That means all these things are they are doing is just like acting. There is no really any kind of sorrow. They are experiencing not any kind of sorrow. So all these they do only for the purpose of making fun of other people, and they enjoy doing it, and that's why they do it. And if you are influenced by them, then they will overpower you, they will control you. And I know few people who have been suffering through these ventures for quite a long time, uh, maybe 20-25 years, more than that. And just simply one thing, that you have to just negate them. Don't get into the influence of them, and then they will go away. They will not harm you any further. Okay. So then the discussion on mantras, incantations. So these mantras also have some power. Some true mantra possesses such instrumental cause and effect relationship. It is not a dual relationship, but it is an instrumental cause. Okay. Instrumental cause and effect relationship. So this mantra just act as a instrumental cause. In reality, a mantra cannot do anything with any other substance. That is the fact. But there are some relationships like nimit nemitik sambandh, instrumental cause and effect relationship. And due to it, the Vyantar is not able to move from a place and also become somewhat miserable. If some powerful mantra checks him, then he remains stationary or remains stuck up on of his own accord. Okay, of his own accord is very important, because generally people believe that because of this mantra, this thing has happened. But it is not so. The fact is that something was supposed to happen, and simultaneously at the same time you chanted mantra and the things did work out. And you start believing that it is because of my prayer, it is because of these and that. No, it is never like that. It is just a instrumental cause and effect relationship and nothing more. Okay. Then Vyantar have this Vyatiric body, transformable body. Okay. And in some text, it is as mentioned that uh, he has burned the Vyantar. So Todramalji clarifies that uh, it is not possible to burn the Vaikaric body, Vaikaric Sharir. So all the celestial beings are having Vaikaric body. All the Narkis are having Vaikaric body by default. Okay.
So what is Vakyaric body?
Transformable body.
Okay.
Okay. So you can be transformed into a very big body like of an elephant, and again you can be transformable into small ants, insects, you know. So this is just because they have Vaikaric body. And because of that Vaikaric body, they can enlarge it and then we can minimize it. Okay. It is just because they have Vaikaric body. Then coming on to the clairvoyance knowledge. The range of clairvoyance found in some of the Vyantars is of knowing the things of less area and time. Limited area and limited times events, this Vyantar, because of its clairvoyance knowledge, is capable of knowing, okay, and in someone it is more, okay. So the capacity and the power keeps on increasing and decreasing. Therefore, if they have desired to reply and have knowledge of the question asked, then they reply to our question related with unknown objects. If they possess less knowledge, then they reply after asking from other Vyantar possessing more knowledge. It should be known that if they possess less knowledge and have no desire to reply, then they do not reply to our question. After taking birth, the Vyantars possessing less knowledge can know about the event of their previous life for some period only. Then afterwards, only the remembrance of those events remain. Okay. Everything gets evaporated from our memory tank, you know. Therefore, if the desire arises, then they indulge in various activity and tell about the previous life, you know. But when someone asks something different than their clairvoyance knowledge being limited, how can they tell? How can they tell without knowing? The question that they cannot reply and have no desire to reply, they do not reply, either due to pride or sportive instinct, or sometimes tell lies. The Devas, celestial beings, possesses such power that they can change or turn their own as well as other jivas body and the material things according to their desire. Therefore, they transform themselves into different shapes and sizes, etc., and indulge in various peculiar activities. They create diseases, etc., in others' body. Okay. So these Ventars have some power, you know. It is not that everything is absolutely false, but they have some kind of power and they have this instinct and tendency to make fun of others. So they behave in such a manner just like a kid. Okay. But one thing that we should understand here is that how much the powerful the Vyantar be. But if there is a rise of Punya Karma in us, that Vyantar will not be able to do anything to us. Okay. And if you are little bit shaky in your confidence, then they overpower you and then they try to control you and guide you. Okay. So we should not fall prey to this kind of uh, heavenly beings, people, you know.
Sir,
So
how about the Kurdevis and Kurdevtas which we
they are
have?
all part of Kudev. They are not the real Dev. They are all Kudev. And if you keep on worshipping it, then again, two causes Todramalji said that we discussed in last class, and that is again coming up in the next question also. So we leave it to that and we move on. So for with clairvoyance knowledge, by default, all all the celestial beings, all the celestial beings have this what I was discussing, I forgot. So all this Vyantar, yeah. So we were discussing that we have seen many kinds of miracles over a period of time, and those responsible are the Vyantar Devas only. Okay. But even if they have this miracle powers, some miracle powers, still we should not be fearful about that, because again our uh, action and reaction depends on our past karmas, past impressions. And if we have very good impressions, then we need not worry about the Vyantar Devas. Okay. So these devas, celestial beings, possesses such power that they can change or turn their own as well as other jivas' body and material things according to their desire. Therefore, they transform themselves into different shapes and sizes and indulge in various peculiar activity. They create disease in other jivs' body. It should be remembered that they can turn or transform their own body and other material things to the extent of their power. Therefore, they do not possess the power of doing all the acts. They can change or turn the body of other jivas only according to the rise of punya pap karma of that jiva. Okay. So you may believe that he has done this and then this, but there is no way that one substance can do anything for the other substance. At most, we can have this instrumental cause and effect relationship, but nothing beyond that. Now, very important question coming up. What is wrong in believing and worshipping those who possesses so much power? Okay. As we have seen that all the Vyantars and other celestial beings, they have this power. Okay. And to neutralize that power, we need to be very alert. So it should be remembered that they can turn or transform their own body and other material things to the extent of their power. Therefore, they do not possess the power of doing all kinds of acts. They can change or turn the body, etc., of other jivas only according to the rise of punya pap karmas of that jiva. Okay. So it is not that the Vyantar will think that I will harass Darshit ji and he is able to harass Darshit ji. No, no way. If there is a rise of pap karma, even your own brother will harass you. And if there is a rise of punya karma, nobody in this universe can do anything wrong to you. This is the universal truth. Okay. Just remember and keep on repeating time and again to get the right faith. Okay. So if that jiva is having the rise of punya, auspicious karma, then the Vyantar Devas cannot make his body diseased. Okay. Etc. And if he is having the rise of pap, then Vyantar Deva cannot do his desired work. Okay. And that's why all the enlightenment soul never expect anything, because thing doesn't work that way. Okay. But still there is a overall guidance about the businesses that you are doing. Now one more question. What is wrong? Yeah.
G, in the last line it is given, if he is having the rise of Papa, then Bhyantra Devas cannot do his desired work.
Hmm.
Can you do, Vyantara Devas can do it or cannot do it? Even if it is rise of Papa and Punya.
So when there is a rise of Punya, then Vyantara Devas
They cannot do it.
cannot do it anything wrong. And if
And
he
if
is
it's,
having a rise of Pap Karma, then also Vyantara Deva are not doing anything. It's just act as an instrumental cause.
okay.
There is an instrumental cause and effect relationship. But beyond that, there is no other relationship. Okay. So now very interesting question. What is wrong in believing and worshipping those who possesses so much power? Okay. So people generally by and large believe in miracles. And once you indulge in those things, then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And then tomorrow they will tell you that you don't start before this, before that. So, your independence is being compromised. Okay. So we need to believe, we need to have correct belief to counter those efforts. So now you read the answer. Who will read? Darshitji, you read the answer. Very important answer.
Okay, Jai Jinendra.
Yeah.
When one is having the rise of Pap karma, the Vyantars, etc., cannot cause or bestow happiness, and when there is rise of Punya karma, they cannot cause misery. Moreover, by worshipping them, no bondage of auspicious karmas takes place. On the other hand, due to increase in attachment, passions, etc., only the bondage of inauspicious karmas is caused. Hence, paying regard and worshipping them is not beneficial, rather, it is harmful. And the Vyantar's motive in inducing others to believe and worship them is only to make fun, and no other specific purpose is there. The one who believes and worships them, with him only they continue making fun. Those who do not believe and worship them, to them they do not say anything. If at all they have any purpose, then they should cause more pain and misery to those who do not believe and worship them. But those who have firm determination of not believing and worshipping them, to them they are not seen telling anything. And the purpose would lie only if they have the suffering of hunger, etc. But such suffering is not found in them. If such suffering be there, why do they not accept sweets, oblation, which are offered to them? And why do they encourage the followers to serve food, etc., to others only? So they have simply the objective of fun. If anyone becomes a party to their activity of fun, etc., then he would become miserable and feel inferiority. Hence, it is not worthwhile to believe and worship them. Further, someone asks that the Vyantars say so, offer pinda dan, obligation of cooked rice to the mains in Gaya, etc. Then we shall get released and will never come again. What is all this? Answer. The jivas normally carry the impressions and experiences of their previous birth to the next birth. The Vyantars, also by remembrance, etc., possess the specific impressions of their previous birth. Therefore, because the Vyantars might be having in their previous birth the conjecture that by doing Pindadan, etc., in Gaya, etc., one gets better rebirth. That is why they induce people to do such acts. If the Muslims, etc., become Vyantars after death, they do not say so. Rather, they narrate their experiences and impressions of the past life only. Hence, if the state of mind of all Vyantars be of uniform type, then all will pray in the same manner. But it is not so. Therefore, one should know the real characteristics of the Vyantars, etc. Do you want me to carry on?
So you
Further,
are muted.
So you're still muted.
Yeah, one more paragraph.
Okay, sure. Further, sun, moon, planets, etc. are the stellars kind of celestial being, Jyotish Devas. Some people worship them, and that is a fallacy. that also is a fallacy. Some worship sun, etc., by believing it as a part of God. Therein the sun lies the only speciality of excessive light. However, gems like diamonds, etc., also possess light. No other speciality seems to be there in the sun for treating it to be part of God. And people worship the moon, etc., for the sake of acquiring wealth, etc. But if wealth could be obtained by worshipping them, then all the paupers should worship. Therefore, this is a false notion. And some people worship them with the view of astrology during the advent of bad planets, etc., and give donations, etc., for the same purpose. As the deers, etc., make movement of their own, and they are treated to be the indicator of pre-intimation of likely future happiness and sorrow respectively, on their crossing from right and left sides, but they are not at all capable of giving pleasure and pain. Similarly, the planets, etc., make movement of their own and are treated as pre-indicators of the knowledge of likely future pleasure or pain on rise of appropriate association of karmas in jivas. But they, the planets, are not at all capable of giving pleasure or pain. Some people who worship them do not get the desired objective fulfilled, and some others who do not worship them get their desired objective fulfilled. Therefore, worshipping them is not worthwhile and is a fallacy.
Stop. So you see that in any way, this Vyantar, worshipping these Vyantars does not yield any results. Okay, they are just ordinary celestial beings. That's all, and they do possess some extraordinary powers, but that is not going to help us in any way. Okay, so the main part of this was that this last 3 lines of the first paragraph, that so they have simply the objective of fun. Okay, in Hindi it is called kotuhal. Okay, they just create, they play prank, prank, just like kids play some sportive action. Okay, nothing more than that. If anyone becomes, this is very important, this line particular, if anyone becomes a party of to their activity of fun. So if you become a party to their activity of fun, then he would become miserable and feel inferiority. Okay, hence it is not worthwhile to believe and worship them. Okay, so if you don't have clarity about what are the functions of a Vyantar, then definitely you will always believe in their miracles. Okay, and once you understand the characteristics of this peripatetic celestial beings, then you will realize that there is nothing that these Vyantars can do to us. Unnecessarily, people are very fearful. This was example of deer, just now it's given. If someone is going for some good activity, auspicious activity, and if a cat crosses that path, then they believe that they will be unsuccessful. So these are kinds of belief that people already have a deep rooted inclinations towards them. Okay, so it is very difficult to go against the flow. You need to have firm conviction, firm faith on yourself to not to get into this kind of Vyantar Devas. Okay, so there are tantrics, there are Vyantar Devas, there are some other types of sages and all, but the fact is that none of them can help us in any way. None of them can help us in doing anything as we desire. Okay, everything is so independently happening. Nobody is a doer of another body. Okay, everyone gets into the chain of modification on its own. Okay, nobody forces somebody to do something. So this is the same line I am again repeating. So they have simply the objective of fun. Okay, if anyone becomes a party to their activities of fun, then he would become miserable and feel inferiority. And hence it is not worthwhile to believe and worship them. This is the final conclusion. It is not worthwhile to believe and worship them. Okay. They will take you to again to false god, false scriptures and false religion. Okay. And you know, Gaya is a very famous place in, I think it's in Jharkhand or Bihar. And it is famous because there are many Vyantars living over there. And people specially go to that place and do their fathers, mothers, elder brothers, sisters, Srad ceremony, you know, Srad ceremony. So Gaya is very famous for that. And most of the people go there and offer Pinddan, oblation of cooked rice to the men in Gaya. Then we shall get released and will never come again. Okay. So, what is all this? The jivas normally carry the impression, okay, sanskar, you know, sanskar, and experiences of their previous birth. This is the fact, you know. The jivas normally carry the impression and experiences of their previous birth to the next birth. The Vyantaras, also by remembrance, etc., possesses the specific impressions of their previous birth. They do have clairvoyance knowledge, so they have some specific impressions of their previous birth. Therefore, because the Vyantar might be having in their previous birth the conjecture that by doing Pinddan, etc., in Gaya, etc., one gets better rebirth. That is why they induce people to do such acts. If the Muslims, etc., becomes Vyantar after death, they do not say so. Rather, they narrate their experiences and impressions of the past life only. Hence, if the state of mind of all Vagantras be of uniform type, then we all pray in the same manner, but it is not so. Therefore, one should know the real characteristics of the Vyantarsa. Further, sun, moon, planets, etc. are the stellar kinds. Stellar kinds means Jyotisi Dev. Stellar kinds of celestial beings, you know. Sun, moon, all these are different names for the same thing. Some people worship them, that also is a fallacy. Okay. Some worship sun by believing in it as the part of God. There in the sun lies the only speciality of excessive lights. However, gems like diamonds, etc., also possesses light. No other speciality seems to be there in the sun for the treating it to be part of God. And people worship moon, etc., for the sake of acquiring wealth, etc. But if wealth could be obtained by worshipping them, then all the prayers should worship therefore. This is a false notion. And some people worship them with a view of astrology during the advent of bad planets, etc., and give donations, etc., for the same purposes. As the deers, etc., make movement of their own and they are treated to be the indicator of pre-intimation of likely future happiness and sorrow respectively on their crossing from right and left sides, but they are not at all capable of giving pleasure and pain. Similarly, the planets, etc., make movement of their own and are treated as pre-indicators of the knowledge of likely future pleasure or pain on the rise of appropriate association of karmas in jiva. But they, the planets, are not at all capable of giving pleasure or pain. Some people who worship them do not get desired objective fulfilled, and some others who do not worship them get their desired objective fulfilled. Therefore, worshipping them is not a worthwhile and is a fallacy. One more paragraph and then we finish this chapter. Okay. Not chapter, this topic, particular 6 chapters, one of this topic will end. Here someone says giving donation is a pious act. Therefore, it is good. Donating with the objective of religion is a pious act, punya. But in the aforesaid case, donation, worship takes place due to fear of misery and greed of pleasures. Hence, it is assuredly wise. Wise here means inauspicious. Likewise, in many ways, they worship the Jyotis, Devas, stellar kinds of celestial goods, which too is a fallacy. Further, goddesses, Devis, Dahares, etc. are found there. Many of them are Vyantars, peripatetic goddesses, and Jyotisnes, stellar goddesses. People worship them with the contrary belief of their characteristics. Several of them are imaginary and goddesses, yet people worship them on the basis of their imaginary characteristics. It's not the real characteristics, okay? Thus, worshipping Vyantar, gods, goddesses, etc. is forbidden. Why it is forbidden? Can anyone say a very good answer? Yeah, Jinali, you try.
So in
Yeah.
Jainism, we only worship real God, that is the one who gives us the right knowledge.
And
And
all these false gods, what they do?
it is mithya. It is delusions. I mean, they teach us not the raw. I can't explain, sir.
So all these false gods, they are not able to do anything,
Huh.
but somehow they want to create some fun. So that's why they just attack the weaker minds, you know. Those people with weak mind, they only attack them. And of course, there is again past karmas that has come into fruition. And because of that, you are indulging in this kind of vyantars, okay? And vyantars are able to harass you. But still, if you remain fearless, then they will do nothing to you. There was a scholar and he was a family man, householder, and uh, his son's son, okay, very small, 1 year old maybe. And what this Vyantar did, you know, he took away that 1 year old kid on the top and threw it from there on the top of the tree. And that 1 year old fell on the ground and he died. So the scholar who knew this Jainism and he was fearless, so what he said, you know, that just because his life was supposed to come to an end, you were able to do it. But if you still have the power and then you harm me, I'm still standing here. If you have the power, you harm me. But he could not do anything because they don't have the power. It is because of the rise of our own karmas that they act as an instrumental cause. They are not, they don't have power to harm us, to help us, nothing, nothing, nothing. Thus, worshipping Vyantars, gods, goddesses is forbidden. What it does, you know, once you indulge in them and keep on believing in them, you start getting deeper and deeper into it. And nowhere it yields any result to us. It doesn't benefit us in any way. On the contrary, it loosens our faith, you know. So it's completely detrimental to our spiritual health and physical health also. And if the past impressions and if the past karmas are not there, then nobody will be able to harm you. Okay. So you have to be fearless in any way, just by following the principle that one substance cannot do anything for the other substance. So if I am getting annoyed, it is not because of the Vyantars, it is because of my own limitation. It is because of my own limited knowledge.
Wrong belief.
Yeah, wrong belief, limited knowledge, that I do believe that these Vyantars can harm me. But in reality, it doesn't harm anybody. It does not have the capacity. Okay. So this was all about Vyantar. And by knowing all these things about Vyantar, you should be fearless. There are stories of these Vyantars coming into the body, and that ignorant lady starts speaking in English. He doesn't know a word of English. He's a small town village girl, very small village girl. But, and he is not literate, she's not literate also. But still, the voice changes and suddenly she starts talking in English. And after the Vyantar goes away, the influence of Vyantar goes away, he comes back to normal. And then you ask that you are talking this in English. So I didn't know. I never spoke English. I don't know English. So there are in newspapers, this kind of stories have come, that this fellow died here and he born in a small village. There are many stories like that, and some of them are true also. But having said that, it is again our past karmas that has come into fruition, and nothing, no external entity can harm us, harass us in any ways. Only thing is that if you are influenced, if you get influenced by them, then they will try to harass you. But if you remain indifferent to their activities, they will leave you, they will not harm you.
So can I ask? So
Huh,
in my mother-in-law's body,
huh,
there used to come Rama Peer.
huh.
So what happened? She couldn't walk. I used to hold her hand and we used to walk.
Hmm,
So we had been to Lonavala.
hmm,
That time there was one lady and a lady who matlab my mommy, she called us at her place, and she had a 6 months old grandson
hmm,
with
hmm,
her. So, and she knew that mara mother-in-law na, body ma Rama
hmm,
Pir આવે છે.
hmm,
So when she was singing Rama Pir na bhajan,
hmm,
that time it came in her body,
hmm,
and when she gave that 6 months old baby in her hand,
hmm,
and she threw the baby for 3 times, and I was shocked because I was scared. Quick no baby, and if it falls, because she herself cannot balance herself,
hmm, hmm,
but then she could do it.
hmm. So, they try to scare you, they try
No,
to
not
scare you.
scaring. They came in a good faith and good this
Hmm,
every time.
hmm, hmm, hmm. So you should not believe in this kind of miracles. Okay. Whatever past impressions we have, whatever past karmas are there, then they will come to us, they will enter our body, but again, they cannot do anything to us. They don't have the capacity. If there is a rise of auspicious karma in us, they will not be able to harm us in any way. And if there is a rise of, say, inauspicious karma, then even our own brother will harm us. Okay, leave alone about the Vyantar, but even our own brother will harm us. So basically, at the end of the day, it all boils down to our past karmas. Okay, so these Vyantars act as an instrumental cause, and above that, if you are weak-minded, you will easily get influenced, and then you will just keep on following, and they want followers. So they do different types of, they practice different types of techniques and power to keep you under them. Okay. But if you realize this, that Vyantar cannot do anything to us, you will not be influenced by them, and you will not listen to their talks also. Okay. So they themselves are very fearful, and they themselves are also suffering in their own life. But they don't have any ways to come out of it. And so they indulge in, because these celestial beings have long age, So they keep on roaming here and there and harassing people and this, only to those people who have a rise of inauspicious karma, and not to those who have rise of auspicious karma. So it again boils down to our own karmas. So the takeaway is that we should not believe in Vyantar in any way. Okay. Yes. Now the next topic. So we discussed Vyantar in a very elaborate manner. Now, denial of worshipping Kshetrapal and Padmavati, etc. So Vyantar, though we understood that it's a celestial being, but this Dharnendra and Padmavati and Kshetrapal, they are all protector of our Tirthankars. So why we should not follow them? Why we should not worship them? Many sects in Jainism worship them, Bispanti and some of the Terapanthis also worship them. Okay. There is in every Jain temple of those sects, there are statues of Kshetrapal and Padmavati. And they believe, people by and large believe that if we obey them, if we pay respect to them, they will protect us. And because of that, people pump in large amount of donations just because they believe that they are going to help us when we are in difficulty. But in reality, nobody can help you. Okay. Whatever your past karmas are there, things unfold accordingly in your life. There is no doer. Okay. You are also not doer, and others are also not doer anything in your life. Everything is happening independently. And if you realize this independent nature of substance, independent nature of attributes, and independent nature of these modifications, you will not fall prey to any kind of these false gods. Okay. So now we are discussing, the discussion on gods continue, false gods continues. And now we are discussing about Kshetrapal, Padmavati, then Dharnendra, and all those kind of celestial beings. So, Darshitji, you read.
Okay.
Are you fearful of these Vyantars?
Sorry?
Are you yourself fearful of these Vyantars?
I've gone through this experience. That's why I wanted to share something with you, but I'm not sure if you have time in the class. So I've gone through this thing of Vastu Shastra. I've gone through this thing of wearing those funny rings because India je astrologers હતા અહીંયા આવે છે Nairobi. And this Vastu Shastra guy is very famous in India. He does a lot of the movie stars and stuff. તો મારું ઘર વાસ્તુ શાસ્ત્ર ઉપર જ બાંધ્યું છે, પણ પ્રિન્સિપલ્સ ઉપર બાંધ્યું છે. But I asked him a question after he designed everything. I asked him a question. I said, like, look, I'm a Jain. અમારામાં એક દ્રવ્ય બીજા દ્રવ્યનું કંઈ કરી ન શકતું. તો how can you say that this, by building my house like this or like this, will happen? And he's a sharp fellow, so he understands a bit of Jainism, I believe. So એને મને response શું આપ્યો કે first of all, whatever will be your destiny, nothing can change it. He said that to me. He said, this is just to say that maybe you will get a bit of an edge, but if your destiny is not with you to have good stuff happening, whatever design you put in your house is not going to work. So he was honest to me, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had also similar experience about this Vastu experts, just because I was into real estate and one of my client wanted to buy one property, and so he engaged that fellow and he told me to show the flat to this Vastu expert, and then he will revert me whether I should buy it or not. So I was showing him the property and he was looking at this corner and that corner. He was measuring something and this and that. And then I asked him one question after he finished his inspection. Then I asked him, that does all this affect, does all this make changes in our life? So he said, frankly, it does not make any changes. It's all depends on your destiny. But we try to create hope in people. Okay. That is what he said. So he said it is true. So if I said I do all the wrong things and then buy a house of according to Vastu, all things will be good in my life. So he said, no, whatever deeds you are doing, you are going to get the result of it, punishment or good things. If you are doing good things, you will get good results. But it is not that this because of this Vastu, things will change. Okay. But
So what
still,
I feel is, it's a science
Hmm.
and it is not wrong. But the thing is, अगर તમારા પુણ્ય કર્મ હશે તો તમારા વાસ્તુના હિસાબે automatically ઘર થશે. અને પાપ કર્મ હશે તો maybe you don't get into that kind of a place. અને પુણ્ય કર્મ હશે તો તમે વાસ્તુવાળાને નહીં બોલાવો તો બી તમારું પ્લેસ વાસ્તુ compliant હોઈ શકે.
so then how can it be true?
It's
Then
not.
it all depends on our karmas only, no?
Yeah, no, but then it is automatically Vastu compliant. But this science may not be wrong. The
No, no, no,
science is
no.
not wrong.
This science is wrong in the sense that, you know, it creates a dependency on them. Okay. So this Vastu Shastra makes some changes in your home. They come to your place and they make some changes. And something good happens in your life. Then your belief becomes strong that Joe, see, because of Vastu only I got these good things in life. Okay. And then your belief becomes firm. Okay. But in reality, it is just a coincidence that he visited your place and something good happened in your life. And you relate this to that, you know, and that is why this wrong belief, the delusion continues. Okay. So best is not to indulge in it. And you know, the more you indulge in it, the more you get deep into that pit. You will not be able to come out of it. The whole life you will spend under this false gods, false perceptor and false religion only. And this is the first priority. If you want to get rid of delusion, first get rid of Kudev, Kuguru, Kushastra. This importance has been given in Jainism at 3 places. When we discuss 8 characteristics of Samyak Darshan, okay, then there is one Amood Drashti, and that states that you don't follow false god, false guru and false religion. Okay. And again in there are this discussion about false gods at 3 places. This is one of the 8 characteristics of Samyak Darshan. There in one place, and then there is one more. 1 minute. Yeah, 25 blemishes of Samyak Darshan. Okay. In that also, there is denial of Kudev, Kuguru, Kushastra. Okay. So there also, and again, while depicting 6 Anayatan, okay, there also this they have denial, they have strongly denied this false gods, false preceptor and false religion. Okay. So to attain Samyak Darshan, you have to first get rid of this false gods, false guru and false religion. Okay. Once you are getting out of it, then what remains is the 7 fundamentals. Now, if you understand the 7 fundamentals correctly, you manifest right belief. Okay. But in the first place, you should come to true God, true guru and true religion. That is the first condition. So you have to get rid of false gods in the first place. And then after getting rid of that, then you understand 7 fundamentals, make your belief right, and then you manifest right belief. Okay. So this has to be avoided. This is forbidden, worshipping them, listening to them, indulging in them, Nothing. One belief you have to keep in yourself is that the one substance cannot do anything of the other substance. Okay. And
Rajeshi,
once, yeah.
sorry, I'm interrupting you, but you know what Jinali ji said is quite interesting because I asked a Pandit once, કોઈ સારા પંડિત ઇન્ડિયાથી આવ્યા હતા lectures દેવા અહીંયા પર્યુષણ માટે, and I asked him this question. And I said, like, કોકો આપણે astrology મળે છે, some benefit. Like, I know you say no, there's no benefit, but I just, let me say, કે આપણે કહે કે તું આ કરી સવિતામ તો તારું આ થવાનું છે, right? His answer to me, and coming back to Vastu Shastra, કે તમને વાસ્તુ શાસ્ત્ર કેમ મળ્યું તમારા હાથમાં? Because maybe your punya karmas were good enough to get that person in your life to guide you in a certain direction. So you're not worshipping them or anything, but is that still wrong or is that right?
It is again still wrong, I will tell you.
Still wrong.
It is just going to weaken your belief system. Simply put it. We are putting in so much effort to change our belief system to the right. And these things will again take you back to that level only. Okay. So it is best to avoid. You know, I know some people who have been so much of influenced by this Vastu and other things that even they want to do some auspicious thing, they will call him and ask if this is the right time. And that fellow will do some action and say, yeah, you do it at 4 o'clock. You get out of house at 3 o'clock, like something like that. And I have been a victim to that also, not myself, but one of my relatives. And she was so fearful. She was always believing that she is having some disease like cancer in her. And the doctor says that she is not having any health problem, but she had this belief that she is suffering. So that belief was not going on, you know. And then somebody suggested that you go to that place, there is a Baba, and he will do good to you. And she went there. I also went with her because she was a close relative of mine and I had to go. I was also just experimenting and seeing what is happening. I don't know what happened, but that the Baba did something and his misconception, you know, that she is suffering from, that went away and she became all right. So in the first place, she was all right. Only this is the imagination that she has created, that she is suffering from some dreaded disease. Okay. To remove that belief, to remove that what you said, imagination, that false perception, that Baba did the wonder. But I knew it is not the Baba that did. It is just the, you know, Sata's Uday that has come to place. That's why she got better, not because of Baba. Baba may be an instrumental cause, okay? But we don't believe it as instrumental cause. Once something gets good, we believe that he is a doer. So let's go and ask this. Then next time you will go again ask. And this will keep on. There is no end to it. One of my friend in Borivali here, we all got connected maybe in the 90s, you know. We became friends because we were eating. I was also new to Bombay. He was also new to Bombay. And we both ate at the same place, Jain club, you know. So we become very good friends. And then we used to periodically meet on trains while coming, going like that, you know. And she's also a Digambar. He's also a Digambar, you know. Kanji Swami's follower only. And then one day he called me up and said that my one Vastu Shastra came to my place, and Vastu Shastra expert came to my place, and he is asking me to do these changes. So I said, how much he is asking for? So he is saying that these are the problems, and to solve this problem, you have to pay 1,50,000. So I said that when you came to Bombay, you have nothing with you. And from there, you rose to this level that now you have bought a 4-bedroom hall kitchen flat, you know. You have prospered so much. Without that astrologer or Vastu Shastra only. And now, since now you have good money, they are just trying to cheat you, by making you fearful. So there is no way that anything can be done by them or you can be benefited by them. You stop it. If you indulge in it, they will keep you dragging you, dragging you, dragging you, because it is just the first step. The doctors does the same thing. They just make you fearful first, and once you are fear, your immunity automatically comes down. COVID was a big scam, similar kind of scam. They make you first fearful, and once you are fearful, you are ready to do anything. Now Darshitji, you go for a routine checkup to the doctor. He said, Darshit bhai, તમારા હાર્ટમાં થોડી બ્લોકેજ છે, આપણે એન્જિયોગ્રાફી કરીએ. And you said, okay. Doctor is saying, so he cannot be wrong. I have a long-term relationship with this doctor. So you believe in him, okay? Then you go for angiography. And then he says, Darshit bhai, this is the blockade. I need to fix it here and here only. Otherwise, again, we have to open up and these and that. And the charges are like that only, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, And people are so fearful, leave alone the patient. Their relatives are so fearful that in some cases I have known that the lady sells his gold ornaments and tells the doctor, you do it, So they create fear. Nothing, there is nothing. So there is a very good joke. I will end with that joke. We are not taking this further anymore. So on the roadside, there are astrologers sitting, and one beggar was not beggar, but a very poor person was going along, and he stopped at the astrologer and showed his hand. So he said that you have this Rahu, Ketu influencing you, and you are trying to do things, but you are not getting successful, and these and that. Some of the things, very common psychological things. He told him, they know face reading, and they know that this person is in trouble. So then he became interested and said, what I have to do? So you have to give me 2,000 rupees and I will give you this mantra and this stone, and you wear it and it will be all right. So, Acha, but I don't have 2,000. So then he said, okay, then you give 1,000. So then he said, okay. So again he says that I don't have 1,000. So then he said, okay, you give me 500. If you don't have that much, you give me 500. I want to do good for you. So let's settle it 500. So he said, I don't have 500. So then he asked, how much you have? How much you are ready to pay? So he said, I am poor person. I don't have anything. So then he said that for a person like that, no Sani, Rahu, Ketu, nobody can disturb you. Because you don't have the money itself. So it's like that. The person who are having good money, they fall prey to this kind of, people. They cheat you, simply cheat you. So the best is never get indulged, never listen to anybody's talk like this, nothing doing. Just believe in Jainism that one substance cannot do anything for the other substance. Okay. You stick to that principle and nobody will come near you also, once you have a strong belief. But if you get weaken, and mostly the ladies they easily fall prey to this kind of, things. They are fearful. But usually or knowingly or unknowingly, you should never get indulged in this kind of things. That is the final say. They never do. Totamji explained it so nicely that these Vyantars are just playing fun. They don't have any power to do anything wrong to us. Of course, the karmas are there, and that nobody denies. But again, but when you indulge in such activity, your faith becomes weaker more, you bind more karmas, so it is not going to benefit you in any way. Okay? So never indulge in this false gods, nothing, don't believe in anything, because all the 3 times, past, present, and future, modifications of each substance is fixed, prefixed, predetermined. Yeah. And things unfold that way only. There is never a change in that sequence. So if you believe in this Krambat Paryay principle, then you should not get involved in any kind of this kind of activities of false god, false guru and false religion. Okay, that is the final. We'll take it forward from here. Page number, we are on to page number 244. Okay. So next week we will be doing on Tuesday and Wednesday only, our usual time. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना